Soft wind slewing through the sweet potato vine. Up in the mountains, it's lonesome for a child. Whippoorwills are calling when the sap runs wild. Up in the mountains, mountains in the fog. Everything's as lazy as an old hound dog. Born in the mountains, lonesome born. Raised running ragged through the cockleburrs and corn. Never knew my pappy. Maybe he never should. Think he was a fiddle. Made a mountain warbler. Never had a mammy to teach me pretty please. Think she was a whippoorwill, a skitting through the trees. Never had a brother, nor a whole pair of pants. But when I start to fiddle, why, you gotta start the dance. Listen to my fiddle. Kingdom come, kingdom come. Hear those frogs a-chunkin'? Chug-a-rum, chug-a-rum. Hear that mountain whippoorwill be lonesome in the air? And I'll tell you how I traveled to the Essex County Fair. Essex County has a mighty pretty fair. All the smarty fiddlers from the South come there. Elbows a-flying as they rosin up their bows for the first prize contest in the Georgia Fiddlers Show. Old Dan Wheeling with his whispers in his ears. Kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. Big Tom Sargent with his blue walleye. And little Jimmy Weezer that can make a fiddle cry. All sitting round, spitting high, strutting proud. Listen, little whippoorwill, you better bug your eyes. Tuna, 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 while the judges tells the crowd. Fan that gets the mostest claps wins the bestest prize. Everybody waiting for the first fiddle bee. When in comes a stumbling hillbilly me. Bowed right purty to the judges and the rest. Took a silver dollar from a hole inside my vest. Plunked it on the table and said, "There's my calling card, and anyone that dicks me, well, he's got to fiddle hard." Old Dan Wheelan, he was laughing at the holler. Little Jimmy Weezer said, "There's one dead dollar." Big Tom Sargent had a yeller toothy grin. But I tucked my little whippoorwill spang underneath my chin and patted it and tuned it till the judges said, "Begin." Big Tom Sargent was the first in line. He could fiddle all the bugs off a sweet potato vine. He could fiddle down a possum from a mile-high tree. He could fiddle up a whale from the bottom of the sea. You could hear hands spank until they spanked each other raw when he finished variations on Turkey and the Straw. Little Jimmy Whizzer was the next to play. He could fiddle all night, he could fiddle all day, he could fiddle chills, he could fiddle fever, he could make a fiddle rustle like a lowland river. He could make a fiddle croon like a loving woman. And they clapped like thunder when he finished strumming. Next came the ruck of the bobtail fiddlers, the let's go easies, the fair to millers. They got their claps and they lost their bicker and they settled back for some more corn liquor. And the crowd was tired of their no-count squealing when out in the center steps old Dan Wheelan. He fiddled high and he fiddled low. Listen, little whippoorwill, you better spread your wings. He fiddled with a cherrywood bow. Old Dan Wheelan's got bee honey in his strings. He fiddled the wind of the lonesome moon. Fiddled a most almighty tune. Started fiddling like a ghost. Ended fiddling like a host. He fiddled north, he fiddled south, he fiddled the heart right out of your mouth. Fiddled here and he fiddled there, he fiddled salvation everywhere. When he was finished, the crowd cut loose. Whippoorwill, there's rain on your breast. And I sat there wondering, what's the use? Whippoorwill, fly home to your nest. But I stood up perked, and I took my bow, and my fiddle went to my shoulder so, and There wasn't no crowd to get me phased, for I was alone, where I was raised. Up in the mountains so still it makes you scared, where God lies sleeping in his great white beard. And I heard the sound of the squirrel in the pine. And I heard the earth breathing through the long night time. They fiddled the rose and they fiddled the thorn, but they haven't fiddled the mountain corn. They fiddled sinful and they fiddled moral, but they haven't fiddled the brushwood laurel. They fiddle loud and they fiddle still, but they haven't fiddled the whippoorwill. I started off with a dump diddle dump, oh hell's broke loose in Georgia. Skunk gab was grown by the big iron stomp. Whippoorwill, you're singing now. My mother was the whippoorwill pert. My father, he was lazy. But I'm hell broke loose in a new star shirt to fiddle all Georgia crazy. Swing your partners up and down the middle, sashay now. Oh, listen to my fiddle. Flat tacks flipping on a red hot griddle, and hell's broke loose. Hell's broke loose. Fire on the mountain, snakes in the grass, Satan's here about, no lordy dead and past. Go down, Moses, set my people free. Pop goes a weasel through the old Red Sea. Jonah sitting on a hickory bough. Up jumps a whale. And where's your prophet now? Rabbit in the pea patch, possum in the pot. Try to stop my fiddle and my fiddle's getting hot. Whippoorwill is singing through the mountain hush. Whippoorwill is shouting from the burning bush. Whippoorwill is crying in the stable door. Sing the night as you never sang before. For hell's broke loose like a stomping met and choked. Sing till you bust the gold in your throat. Hell's broke loose for 40 miles around. Bound to stop the music if you don't sing it down. Sing on the mountain with a whippoorwill. Sing to the valley and slap 'em with a hill. For I'm strutting high as an eagle's quill. And hell's broke loose. Hell's broke loose. Hell's broke loose in Georgia. There wasn't a sound when I stopped going. Whippoorwill, you can sing no more. And somewhere or other the dawn was growing. Oh, mountain whippoorwill. And I thought I'd fiddled all night and lost. You're a good hillbilly, but you've been bossed. So I went to congratulate old man Dan. But he put his fiddle into my hand. And then the noise of the crowd began. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. Anyway, though